Hello, everyone. Hope you are well. Hope you're looking after yourselves. We've got the first episode officially for our newly launched segment, Comics 101, where we dive into the world of sci-fi, fantasy, and all things comic book related. And we've got a special treat for you today because we're going to be talking, it's going to be a Marvel, again, based episode where we'll be talking about two important Marvel projects, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Moon Knight. But first off, I just want to let you guys know that I'm here with Joshua again and Riham, our in-house Marvel experts. So yeah, feel free if you guys want to say hi to everyone.
Hi everybody.
Hi everyone.
And so we've got a great episode planned for you today. So we're gonna start off by talking about Doctor Strange. And I guess before we dive into things, we warned you in our last episode when we talked about Spider-Man No Way Home. I will say that there might be spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, but I feel like it also has been enough time, and it's also coming to like DVD at the end of the month. So I feel like we've given a long enough time. So if you haven't seen it, you've probably seen some of the spoilers. But yeah, we're going to dive into that, talk about that a bit, talk about some theories we might have seen, things like that. So yeah, we're going to kick things off with Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. So I don't know about you guys. Obviously, two trailers have come out at this point. A couple of TV spots and here and there. And yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel like this film is just like, it took everything from No Way Home and it's just decided, you know what, we're gonna go one step higher. Like I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would say it's like as if they want to like open all the doors to everything Marvel. Exactly. And be like, okay, then this is everything that Marvel is, especially the fact they've got like the X-Men now, and you can kind of hear like Patrick Stewart's voice in the second trailer, and the fact that they've got now with No Way Home, they've got access to the Spider-Man from other worlds. So it's actually told fans, oh, there's other worlds for Marvel. So literally it's broken up and it's opened up many different worlds, many different ideas, many different places that even Marvel can take things to. And I think it's really great because you could even, the way that they've done, like they did Spider-Man No Way Home, bringing in like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. They could potentially like bring back previous Hulks if they wanted to. They could potentially recast some characters who have passed away, like recast Iron Man and put him into a film. They could think about bringing about like another version of Captain America. And it's just like so many different things that they could actually just do. And now I think with the many different universes, it kind of is more to the comics now than it is just like a completely separate entity. And especially because it's like you've got the many different Earths, the many different dimensions that people are on. It's kind of like that you've got the comic books. So you could have a universe where one focuses on the comic books, one that doesn't. So then it also makes the experience better for fans.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I kind of feel like, I feel like I've got to say this before we continue. When you mentioned Patrick Stewart, all I just thought about is when the second Doctor Strange 2 trailer came out, and he was literally just like, oh yeah, it's I don't think it's me. People have been imitating my voice for all this time and it's not me. And then like a couple of weeks ago, he was just like, no, it is me. He was just saying that he found it like crazy that all people just saw was like the back of his ear and his shoulder, and people were just like losing it. If you go online and watch reaction videos, you'll just see how people just like were so shocked. But yeah, no, I definitely agree, Joshua. I feel like it's Multiverse of Madness. I guess not even just Multiverse of Madness, but like Spider-Man No Way Home. Any future Marvel products and films and stuff. It's kind of like just like, you know what, we can do what we want at this point. If the actors are willing to do it, the sky's the limit. So yeah, I think it's going to be a crazy film. Like if looking at, I've been, I guess typical Marvel fan. I've been looking at, what people have analyzed from the trailers and, the posters and different things like that, and looking into it, and it's been really interesting to see like all the things that I guess that could be teased in the film, and yeah, I think like Joshua said, this isn't, well, I don't know what's going to happen in the film. It's probably going to be amazing, like I said. But I think this is like Marvel's way of just saying that like anything's possible at this stage. And like Joshua was saying, there's been many Marvel films and like TV shows way before way before the MCU started. So this is like the perfect opportunity to bring them in. If you see the trailer, people are saying, we might even go to like a comic-based world. There's apparently some people thinking that we might even go to like a what if, all the stuff we've been seeing in like the what if Disney Plus show. We might see some of those characters, whether that's in live action or, in animated form. So yeah, I think this film's honestly it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, what about you, Riham?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at the trailers or the teasers, I have got very high expectations. It has to be absolutely crazy. The amount of things that could happen, the plot twists that could happen. I'm expecting like a lot of kind of dark versions of people, especially after the Loki Disney kind of series when they were showing like the whole timeline and everything that was happening there. So thinking about like how there could be multiple versions of people, it's going to be really fun and exciting. Just like how Joshua was saying, like different versions of like Captain America, maybe a new Iron Man as well. I do kind of have a hope that they're going to bring something up about Black Panther. Like I was saying, I don't think Killmonger's like fully dead. So maybe that will make an appearance as well. But it's just like, as soon as you've opened up the timeline, you can't imagine what could happen. Literally anything is on the table. Everything's on the table. So yeah, it's exciting. One thing that I do have to say is I'm kind of hoping that there's like a dark version of Ned that turns his back on Peter, because that was a big promise you made, Ned, saying that you'd never turn your back on Peter. So, hopefully it was a little Easter egg to kind of catch on to. But yeah, there's just a lot to expect from this.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's true. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Joshua.
And also, onto your point, is that the fact that Ned doesn't even know he's Spider-Man anymore. So exactly. It's easier now to even betray him because he doesn't know he's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that
I know.
Completely slipped my mind. I feel so bad now.
Yeah, I know there was a theory saying that that's what I guess that's what people are thinking that the next set of Spider-Man films could actually feature, because they're saying obviously it was confirmed in Spider-Man No Way Home that there is no Oscorp in the MCU. Now, that's not to say that there isn't a Norman Osborn or whatever, or, whatever happens in Multiverse of Madness isn't going to bring an Osborn, because what I was thinking, like, the whole time of watching No Way Home is, even if, like, let's say they bring a Norman Osborn into the MCU, is that Peter Parker is the only one who remembers the events of No Way Home. So he knows that Norman Osborn will become the Green Goblin, even if he doesn't think it. So someone I saw, I think it was on Instagram or YouTube, they were saying that what if Ned, now not remembering that, who Peter Parker is as Spider-Man, Ned, I don't know, for some reason, I don't know what it would be, but Ned for some reason becomes the Hobgoblin like he does in the comics. And then I guess his Hobgoblin is supposed to be like the Green Goblin for MCU Peter Parker. Now, I'm not saying that, that's what I like. I don't know. They could do it. They could do it right. I mean, other films have done, it's not the main villain, but it's like an alternative version, and it's worked. The different interpretation of the Riddler in the Batman, that worked really well. So I'm kind of like, it could work. But yeah, no, 100%. I definitely agree with you guys. There's a lot of things that could even happen, and I think it's a key thing to highlight at this point, that like there is so much going on. Like I think like what Riham was saying, that the people have been saying like the ending of Loki with essentially the sacred timeline being broken, the ending of What If, seeing all these multiversal, I guess, versions of characters, and the Guardians of the Multiverse taking down Ultron Prime, and they stopped him. Like Riham was saying, Killmonger in that, even though he was in a pocket diamond mirror dimension, Killmonger in that had Infinity Stones on him. So who knows? He might appear. But yeah, I think it's honestly going to be crazy. I think one thing we have to address before we go on to, talking anything else is when Riham brought up Iron Man, I was just like, everyone, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the pictures, but in the second Doctor Strange trailer where it looks like Wanda is being like attacked by this like being of energy. Now, I know that some people are saying if you look closely or if you slow it down, it kind of looks like it could be Iron Man. I know some people are saying, based on the skin color, there's no way it could be Iron Man, and it's most likely going to be either, Monica Rambeau from WandaVision, or it's going to be her mother Maria, who was in Captain Marvel. So yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, who do you think is going to be? Do you think we're going to find out? Because obviously, I guess for anyone who doesn't know, Patrick Stewart being in it has basically almost confirmed or teased that the MCU is going to get its own version of, the Illuminati group, which in Marvel is a group of superheroes. It's got like Black Panther, Reed Richards, Iron Man, Professor X, Namor, and there's one other person, but I've forgotten then. I don't remember off the top of my head. But essentially, they're a group of Marvel heroes that essentially want to not necessarily govern the world, but they want to essentially keep the world safe through, from multiversal threats. And I guess they're a group in their own within the Avengers. Now, I guess I wanted to ask you guys, do you think that, I guess, Riham's hoping for something related to Black Panther being teased there, which would be great. But yeah, this Iron Man picture or Captain Marvel picture, what do you guys think it is? Do you think we're going to see Iron Man? Are we going to see a version of Iron Man? I know some people are saying that we're going to get apparently, superior Iron Man, which is basically like, I guess if Iron Man wasn't never humbled and he's like very arrogant, he's very selfish, but he's also considered one of the most powerful and smartest Iron Man, I guess, variants out there. Or do you think actually, no, it's actually Captain Marvel. We're going to see a different version of Captain Marvel who's like even more OP than the Captain Marvel of our universe. And we're going to finally get, everyone has been arguing who's the strongest in the MCU. We're going to finally get confirmation about whether Captain Marvel can go toe to toe with Wanda. What do you guys think?
That's a good question. I just realized I got Captain Marvel and Captain America mixed up. I always do it. I meant Captain Marvel.
That's right.
I personally feel like with the whole Captain Marvel film, they displayed all of her powers and everything, but it didn't really give any substance. So it would be good to kind of see a bit more on that. In terms of strength-wise, I genuinely believe that Captain Marvel could probably take Wanda. But we'll see. That's just my opinion. But yeah, no, I don't know. I would probably say maybe like Iron Man. If you think about the Spider-Man films, and I can't remember what his name is, the one that fell into like the pool of electric eels or whatnot.
Electro.
Electro.
Is his name called Electro?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So with Electro, I feel like if Iron Man, like a new version of Iron Man, decided to do something crazy, maybe he is just channeling energy, which would be insane. But yeah, I don't know. It's all kind of up in the air. I feel like there's a lot of things that could happen with Wanda, especially. I did have like a little ounce of hope that Quicksilver would come back, because I feel like that would be quite emotional if you're like fighting your brother. But yeah.
If we're going to now move on to the second part of today's episode, and we're going to talk about Moon Knight. Now, I don't know if our listeners, if you've seen much about Moon Knight. It's coming at the end of this month, March 30th. And yeah, it's essentially looking like it's going to be really good. Now, for those of you who don't know much about Moon Knight, essentially he's a character who he suffers, or essentially he has multiple personalities, and they're all like different, I guess, characters. So in the comic books, he himself is a mercenary, but he's also had like different personas. But it looks like in the TV show, they're focusing on him being like a person who works at the British Museum. And they were saying as well that, I guess looking at the multiverse again very quickly, like we were saying before, that it looks like the headquarters of whatever organization Professor X is going to be a part of, their headquarters are at the British Museum. So it looks like, there could be a connection there. I'm not saying Moon Knight's necessarily going to appear in it, but it'll be interesting to see that. But yeah, essentially, it's all about his journey of becoming a superhero and becoming Moon Knight, because essentially he has close connections with, the god of the moon. I think, excuse my pronunciation. I think it's Khonshu is his name. But yeah, there's this like whole tease, and it looks like really good. And I think one of the things that personally I don't know, I don't want to say like I haven't liked, but one of the things I'm like, I guess it's made me excited about the show is a lot of the trailers haven't revealed much. So even like us talking about it, there's only so much we can do. It's not like a film where, there's loads of hours of content that they could pick from. Like, it was very short. So yeah, essentially I wanted to ask you guys, like, what do you think about Moon Knight? Do you think it'll be fun? We discussed this before the episode started, that, Moon Knight is, according to Kevin Feige, is going to be, a big show in the sense of, it's not going to be necessarily like, I guess, as PG as Loki and WandaVision was, and Falcon and the Soldier. It's going to be a bit more violent. So essentially, yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, like, what do you guys think about it? Are you excited for Moon Knight? Do you think it'll be good? Do you have any interesting theories, things like that?
I am here for that, honestly. I think we haven't received enough Deadpool content. I'm a bit disappointed. I really like Deadpool, really like Venom, so it'd be nice to have another kind of vigilante having that spotlight as well. And you never know, maybe in the future they'll, join arms and appear all in one movie. I think that'd be really chaotic. But yeah, no, from what I've seen, I think it looks like it's going to be a great... Is it a movie or is it coming out as a series?
So I think it's aimed to be a series. It's going to be like a very short series, though. I think it's similar to what's that? To Loki, not Loki. Sorry. Actually, I think Loki was 6 episodes, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be similar to Loki. So it's going to be like 40-minute, 6 episode series. They haven't confirmed if it's going to be like WandaVision and it's going to be like a limited series, or if it's going to be like a full-fledged, like, super long series. Okay. So yeah, it looks like it should be good. But yeah, one of the things that when you're saying like you're excited for it, because I know some people say like, oh, Moon Knight is kind of similar to Deadpool, not to Deadpool, sorry, to Batman. But like one of the things that I think is crazy that that Moon Knight says is like in the comic books, he says like, he's asked like, why is your costume white? And he says, my costume isn't white. So like, I didn't design my costume so that, the bad guys don't see me. He said, I designed it so they saw me, they can see me. Sorry. And, they're running out in fear. They know that he's coming. And I'm like, that's essentially like, I guess like you're saying, Riham, that we haven't had like a hero like that, maybe the closest in the MCU, definitely not, but like the closest you could argue is maybe like the Punisher or Daredevil. And, obviously it's great to have both characters can now appear in the MCU. But yeah, we don't know when that's going to happen. Daredevil, we know is definitely going to be Charlie Cox. We don't know about the Punisher, but essentially this is, I guess, Marvel's like, well, the MCU's first like proper, like, tough hero. So I definitely agree that like it's going to be great. I feel like it's going to be super fun. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of like theories on like what it's going to be on. There's arguments that we'll see, like some big fight scenes. I just feel like it'll be a different take, I guess, similar to like WandaVision and Loki and Captain America and Winter Soldier and also Hawkeye. It's essentially Marvel diving into the deep end, trying new things and seeing, will the fans like it? So I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, what about you, Joshua?
Okay, so I've got a take for you two. And everyone else listening, you heard it here first. I believe that they're going to use Moon Knight to try and see if they can bring in a mystical character that they've announced or they've shown before. So another thing to your point, that they've actually brought the Netflix shows to Disney Plus. They've also brought Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to Disney Plus. And like one of the big reveals and big things that they had in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the fact that they had Ghost Rider. And I'm thinking either him
That would be
or
good.
potentially, which would be amazing, if they then bring in Blade. So Marshall Ali's Blade, or even they could even do Wesley Snipes' Blade, because some people believe that they might give him a shot, especially with the way they did No Way Home. That one of those two characters, I believe, will be in the TV series. Because that's one of the things that they have done in the TV series. They've brought a character that is big, has been rumored, and then they put them in the TV series. So we saw Kang in the Loki series. We saw the female version of Loki in the Loki series. We saw what was the guy called again? The fake Captain America.
John Walker.
So we saw John Walker in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We also saw Baron Zemo again. So it seems like they love putting in people. They even put in Wilson Fisk in Hawkeye TV series. So then I think they're going to bring someone big, and it's going to be someone mystical. And my money's on either Ghost Rider or Blade.
Well,
or even because you've been talking about it for some time, Jeffrey, because it is also in London, you could potentially see Captain Britain or Captain Britannia, or a London-based Marvel superhero.
Well, I guess sort of linking to that, the Eternals, not that obviously the whole film, but it did start off with, some of the characters being in London. So it is believed that, we don't know when Moon Knight takes place, and we probably won't find out until this show actually comes out. But it is like some people believe that, like you said, Joshua, that even if it's not a new character who's London-based, we might find out about like other characters. So I'm not necessarily saying that the characters in Eternals will turn up, but depending on when it's based within the MCU, we might find out, hey, Moon Knight actually interacted, or when he was at the British Museum, could have interacted with, Gemma Chan's character, Cersei. So yeah, I feel like it would definitely be like an interesting twist. It's rumored that I think his name's Norman Reedus. It's the guy from I know he's in Walking Dead, but he's apparently rumored to be the next Ghost Rider. I don't know if he's going to be playing Nicolas Cage's version of the character or another one, but it's rumored that he's going to reappear in the MCU at some point. So it'll be really cool to see. But yeah, I guess that's really good. And then I guess the last thing before we go is, I guess, keeping in the spirit of things Marvel. Morbius is coming out very soon. Essentially, like, what do you guys think? Because it's been delayed for a long time. Whether that was because of the pandemic or other films coming out around the same time, Sony have essentially pushed it to the point where they want it to be their own thing. Now, I know that there are rumors going around that the reason why they delayed it, because it was originally going to come out in January, and apparently there were rumors going around that either A, Sony delayed it because they wanted essentially Spider-Man to cross the box, make into the top 10 most grossing films, which it did. I think it's even in the top 5 now. But they were saying that, they didn't want that to clash. Or B, they did it because, the well-received reception of Andrew Garfield coming back meant that they were just like, you know what? We're going to put Andrew Garfield as a cameo in the film. Now, I wanted to ask you guys, Riham, if you happen to go first, I'd love that. Essentially, are you looking forward to Morbius? If you are, like, what are you looking forward to?
Honestly, I don't think I am. I feel like outside of kind of the Marvel universe, I feel like you've already got Batman, which is so well known. So I don't know if it was like the greatest idea to kind of put out another Bat superhero or vigilante or whatnot. I understand that there's differences. I would say he's more of like a kind of vampire bat. And and obviously with the whole doctor thing and creating antidotes or whatnot, the trailer, from like what I can gather, I just don't know I'm not the most excited for it, really.
I get that.
Yeah. Let me know what your opinions are.
I don't know. Joshua, you go next.
I agree with Riham. I think the issue with Morbius is that one of the things that Marvel have done is they've been boosting up their characters for years. So they've been boosting up in the comic books and also in the films like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, but there hasn't been like anything boosting up like Morbius. Like he hasn't been in a major figure in any of the newer comics or any of the animated TV shows. So it's like picking a character, like for example, picking up Hobgoblin or picking another Spider-Man villain who isn't like on the main stage. Because I think one of the things, it's like doing a Mysterio film without Spider-Man. I think that's the issue, and I think that could be the trepidation that fans might have, is that okay, we've seen the trailer, we know about him, but what else is it going to bring to the table? And like it kind of reminds me of the episode of on Fox Kids when Morbius is basically turns into a bat and then starts to basically suck the vitality of people around him. And then it kind of like brought Blade into the situation because Blade wanted to take him out because he saw him as a vampire. So that would actually be a good, cool element to it. Because to Riham's point, I'm not that excited if it's just him in the film. Exactly. So if it's just a Morbius film, it's not as exciting because they haven't really built up the character at all.
Yeah.
But if it's like, oh, you've got vultures in the film or scorpions in the film, or you have, for example, other Spider-Man characters like, I've got one thing. What if they delayed it because they wanted to put in Kraven the Hunter?
That is a good point, because when you were mentioning this, so I don't know, I think I'm maybe the opposite. I wouldn't say like I'm amazingly like, oh my gosh, like I'm super hyped for Morbius, but I am interested because I think one of the things that Sony like has been able to, like, I mean, in general, like comic book related stuff, like companies have been able to do is like make comic book characters, especially with those that aren't necessarily well known, like do well. Now, I don't know if you guys have watched Invincibles or The Boys, or The Boys, but I've sort of watched The Boys. I've watched the first season of Invincible, and that I had like heard about the comic book before, but as soon as I watched the first episode, I was like, this is going to be good. And I think that that's one of the things that companies have. Now with Sony, I would say, you know, Venom, when it was like proposed, people are just like, oh, a Venom film with no Spider-Man, like how is this going to work? How would this even be good? And it, you know, it was good enough that the first film did pretty well, and the second film was, I haven't seen it, but from what I know, did well too. And, you know, Sony has already said that, you know, we're getting a Silk, I think either TV show on Amazon or film. We're getting, like Joshua said, a Kraven the Hunter film. We're getting a Madam Web film. I think someone else, there's another like Spider-Man related film. I think they said that Venom 3 is confirmed. So like, I do think it is possible for them to make like Morbius interesting without him like necessarily being, you know, I guess, you know what I mean? Like Spider-Man might not necessarily be there, but they can still make the story impactful. You know, one of the things that Tom Holland said about like who he would like to face next, he said he'd definitely love to face Morbius. So I'm not saying, you know, we're going to necessarily get another Doctor Strange type thing, but I do believe that, you know, there is a possibility, I guess, you know, largely depends on whatever happens in Doctor Strange too. It does depend that there could be the possibility of, now, this is like one of my theories for the ending of that film, is that there's like a merge of certain like worlds within Marvel. Now, the reason why I say that is because there's comic books which deal with stuff like this, where, you know, Two Earths, there was one comic book, I think it was the Secret Wars comic book, which again is highly hinted to be the next like Marvel film. It's going to be, you know, their own interpretation. But it is believed that, you know, we will essentially get a multiversal event that causes like most of the characters we've possibly seen in certain films who are, you know, they're happy to come back, maybe not necessarily as full-time characters, but do like Josh was saying, of cameos or, you know, appearing here and there. Or there are some people who might be like, yeah, I'd love to be, you know, Spider-Man, like, again, or I might want to be like, maybe not, you know, Wolverine, because, you know, Hugh Jackman said he's retired. I do think he might be in Multiverse of Madness, but I'm not betting on it. But yeah, I think like we were saying that it is possible for that stuff to happen. So it is possible that Morbius could appear in the next Tom Holland Spider-Man film as the villain for that. And it's not necessarily like No Way Home where he gets healed. It can literally just be, you know, good old classic. These guys don't get along. They fight, and then he gets defeated. But yeah, essentially, I guess, I guess that's it. Riham, did you want to say something?
No.
Okay, no worries. But yeah, essentially that's really it on the Marvel front. You know, there's other Marvel content coming, and we'll be talking about that when it happens. If you guys did like our episode, like, comment, and subscribe is always appreciated. If you want to see the full episode, please do make sure you're subscribed to our Patreon page for our MC, Grammy, and I completely forgot the last one. Basically, for all the packages on Patreon, you'll be able to access the episode. So that is £1, £4, and £8 a month. You'll be able to access the full episode. And yeah, essentially, keep an eye out. We will be coming back soon to discuss all things comic book related with our episode on the Batman. You know, we've talked about it before. I'm sure everyone here can agree. The Batman looks like, well, it's out at this point, and it looks amazing from what I've seen people's reviews so far. So yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about it soon. But yeah, keep an eye out for the next episode, and yeah, we will see you all soon. So have a nice day, look after yourselves, and yeah, make sure you don't miss the next episode of Comics 101.